Good day, everyone. Good day, everyone. My name is Andrew, and welcome to Data King 1. Today, we will start our series on MySQL for beginners to advanced. SQL is described as a language that communicates with databases, and a database is an organized storage system that has a collection of data. So let's go right straight into it. So today is part 1. So what I will do is I will go to my system and I will write my SQL, and you will see it will pop up here. Now what the next step is, I will click MySQL and it will start to run. You can see now it's going to take me to a page where I will need to see the local instance, the root and location. So when I click that, it's going to direct me to where I will actually put in my password. Okay, so now this is the SQL editor. This is our MySQL interface. This is where we are going to write, or you can call it a MySQL editor. So this is where we are going to write our code, and the output will also come over here. Now today I'm going to teach you how to create a database with MySQL or SQL. Now, first, you should know that SQL is used to create database. It's also used to manipulate database. It's also used to query database. In fact, SQL does a whole lot of things. Now, let's get right straight into it. Now, the first is to create a database. Some of the database, let's give it employee, because I want to do an HR analysis here. So let's give it employee, EMPLOY. So the next thing is to use a semicolon. So this is what we use when you want to execute a code, or if you want to execute a statement in MySQL. So the next thing, you go to this particular flash. You can see here any of the two, but use this. Click this, and you can see at the base, you will see there is information will be given. Create database employee, 1 rows affected. So it means this database have been created. So the next thing, we click enter and it goes to the second line of code, or the second cell. Now, what we need to do is we need to check if this employee database we just create is in the system. So what we use, we write the code show database in your MySQL board. So now let's check it. Enter. So when we click enter, let's check for employee, EMPLOY. So I'm going to scroll down, because these are all the database in this particular MySQL workbench that I have here. So I'm going to scroll down and see if I have employee, and you can see we have employee here, EMPLOY. So this one highlighted, you can see. So this database is created. We have here. So I'm going to use semicolon and hit enter. So when we do that, you can see at the output, action output, use employee 0 rows affected, and once it shows green means it has been accepted. So this is how we ensure that every code we are going to do here is going to be based on this employee database. So next, we click enter and go to the 4th line of code, or the 4th cell. Now what we want to do here is we want to create table, because definitely in every database you have, especially when they are relational database, means they have a relationship. We have to create a table where we have the column and the rows. So let's create a table. So for SQL, we are going to write create table. You can see as I write it, SQL also highlight it, showing that this is inbuilt. Okay, so create table employ. So I'm going to write the name of the database, which is employ. Then we start to put in our values. So for the first values, I want to get name of employees. So that name is a VACHAR. So when I put it, you can see VARCHAR. So CHAR is a VACHAR. Then the next step is VACHAR. We are going to make it 25. Now I'm going to explain this immediately. What VACHAR means, that it's a text. Okay, so now let me quickly explain this line 4. Now you can see create table employee name VACHAR 25. Now what this implies is I'm going to create a table in this database, and this table is going to have columns and rows. So definitely this is a relational database that I'm trying to create. Now what I do first, because it's under an employee, I want to first put the name. So the name of the employee comes first. So that is why I have name here. And name is a text. That's why I have VACHAR. VACHAR is a data type that represents any text. So if I have a text, either a statement or a name, means I have to use this data type VACHAR for SQL to recognize what kind of information can only go in this particular column name. And for this 25 means that I don't want the length of the name to be longer than 25. So if I have a name that is up to 30, means if I'm 30 long, means I have to change this to 30. If not, it will not accept all the letters of this name. So that is how we create the name. So we have to go to the next column. So now that we have the name of the employee, we have the age of the employee, we have the gender, then let's think, okay, we can actually put the date of join. Okay, the date of join, the day the employee joined the company. So that is going to be DOJ, starts for date of join, and this is going to be a date. Okay, so this is going to be a data type date. Okay, so we have data type that is called date. So SQL, we understand that what we want here is only date, and every information here will be date. Okay, so the next is we want the city where the person, the city where the person comes from. Okay, so city, you can just remember the way I did name. City also is a text, it's an information. So it's going to also be VACHAR, right? Okay, so then VACHAR, we are also going to put what is the length I want the city to be. So I want it to be 15. Okay, so I'll take this and I'll put my comma. So the next thing, I'm going to click enter, and I'm going to put the last information. So let's put the information for salary. So for salary, it's going to be a float, because you should all know salary can come like 7,840. So that's going to have commas and decimal places, or salary can be 7.84 thousand dollars. So definitely that is going to be a float and not an integer. So that is why the information for salary and age, though they are numbers, but age is an integer and salary is a float. So at the end, I'm going to end it there by closing the parenthesis. Then I'm going to put in my semicolon. So with this, you can see from here, create, to this point, I've been able to create my database with employee, age, gender, DOJ, city, and salary. So the next thing, I'll come straight down here to this flash, run it, and you can see creatable employee. You can see it's in green. Creatable employee, name, age, everything affected. So this is correctly done. This data set I've created. So I'm going to use describe. So you can see this describe is a function in SQL already. So I'm going to use describe employ, employ. So, and I'm going to put semicolon, right? Then I will hit the run or the execute button, and you can see it has actually showed us our field that we have name, which is varchar, no null values. Null value means if there is an empty value, definitely we don't have. So we have age, and age is an integer. You can see the type of data set. We have gender, which is a car. We have DOG, date of joint, which is date, data type. We have city, which is varchar, salary, which is a float. So it has actually showed us the type of structure that we have created. So from here, we can now go into inserting our information. You should know that these fields are also the same thing as our column, while our row is the same thing as our records. All right, let's continue with creating the data set by putting in information in all these columns. So now that I've already seen the structure, nicely done, and you can see describe employee is 6 rows returned. So this is okay. I can now fix in my values. So for my values, I've actually gone to a notepad and written all these values to make it faster. So I have John as name, 32 as age, M to represent male as gender, 2022 725 as date of join, the date this John joined the company, the city New York, and the salary is 7,000. So what I'm going to do, you can see I have it for John, Mark, Sarah, Alex. So this is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 information here. So I'm going to copy this and insert it on MySQL. So what I'm going to do, before I will insert it here, what I will do is I'm going to write insert. Insert, you can see it's insert into, means I want to insert an information into my SQL table that I've created. So I'm going to use insert into, then I'm going to write employee, which is the database name, employee. Then the next stage is I'm going to hit enter so I can go to the next cell. Then here I'm going to use Ctrl V, and that is going to paste all the information, all the values I've written on my notepad. You can see it right here. You can see it from here. We have, so you can see all the information. We have John, which is the name. We have 32, which is the age. We have M, which is stand for male. This is the gender. Then we have the date of join, which is 25th July 2022. We also have the city New York and the salary per annum 70,000. And you can see that we have equally fixed all the names, all the other informations. You can see it. So we have 8 records here, which means 8 rows. So now the next thing, you can also see after each information, I put a comma to the next information, just like that. So the next stage, you can see after writing insert into employee, and we have actually fixed all our information. So first, before we execute, we are going to write here value. We understand that these are values that we want to insert. So you can see it rightly done here. And at the end of the whole information, we are going to put a semicolon. And you can see we have separated each record, each row with a comma, each row with a comma. But when it gets to the last information, we are going to put a semicolon. This is because we want SQL to recognize that this is where all the information from here terminates here, so that we can now execute it. So what I'm going to do is I'll go to the execution button and click execute, and you can see insert into, you can see insert into employees, values, John 32. You can see all the information. 8 rows affected, records 8, duplicate 0 means we don't have any duplicates, warning 0, so everything is properly done. So the next step, when we are done with this, we click enter, and now we want to cross check to see if all this information are well entered in the columns respectively. So what to do, we are going to use select. This is one of the most popular function in SQL, the select function. So select asterisk sign, which is star, represent all. So select all from employee. So employee. So we have used employee. So select all from employee table. Okay. Then we are going to put definitely a semicolon. See your information saved in an Excel file where you can use it to do every other thing. Now you have it. It's a database here, well stored. Anytime you have a crash, you just download MySQL again and put in your password, and everything will come up. This is so lovely. So your database is very, very safe here. Then you can actually after exporting, what you can do is you can go to your system just like this. So I can go to my system and I'll go to my PC. So once I click my PC, let me expand this, then I will check my downloads. So when I hit my downloads, and you can see my new data, which I use in storing it here in CSV format. So I'm going to click this, and you will see all information is out again. Join, Mark, Sarah, Alex. You can see, let me expand this, and you can see the date of join, the gender, the city, the salary. So this is how you actually do this job. So thank you so much for staying with me. Congratulations, you have actually been able to create your own database, and with a database you can do a whole lot of things. You can have database in every industry. You need to have a database. So see you on part 2 of my series on MySQL for beginners to advanced. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Bye bye.